Hello everyone, how's everybody doing today? I know it's been a few days since I've been on here. Just busy doing work, doing really amazing work. And today I was thinking about popping up here, really because I had this amazing class this morning. So I led this amazing class, and we had this very interesting topic that we were covering. Hi, Mary Rose. Hi. Can you hear me okay? I'm not sure if my phone is with the volume up as it could be, but I think I'm making it up. Hi, Adri. It's good to see you here. I was just saying that I had this amazing class this morning with some of my students, and we were covering such a good topic that made me think of the master class that I shared with you guys. And if you haven't seen my master class, by the way, I really encourage you. Oh, good, Mary Rose. Thank you for letting me know. That's good. So yeah, I really encourage you to watch the class, because one of the things we were talking in class today about was this sense of perfectionism that we often have, and these really high standards that we set for ourselves, and feeling confident only when those perfect things are accomplished. And that's actually the first shift, not to spoil it for you if you haven't seen the masterclass, but if you see it, or when you see it, the first shift is exactly that, is finding confidence in your divinity, not in your perfection. And it's a really amazing conversation. I've been definitely in the loop of that, of awareness, of checking in with myself when I'm looking for that perfect accomplishment, right? So one of the examples I wanted to bring out, or bring up, is this book I just published, right? So it's been obviously a work of love and of great healing. Really, I describe it as a rite of passage for my life, because so much healing came from sitting down to just, express my heart and my soul into it. But as it's now out there, currently getting printed to ship out to all the many of you who bought it, so thank you for your support in that. It's brought up so much anxiety and so much nervousness, because it's a really personal story. And there is so much about it that is not perfect, including a lot of possible typos that will be there, and also words that I make up that they don't really exist. And even saying that brings obviously a smile, but also nerves to my heart. Like I can feel my heart pumping faster, because my book is not perfect in the way that our world would see it be as perfect, right? It's not flawless. It's not, exaggerated, like every single little detail, it might not be exactly as it should be. It's not completely perfect. There will be some little things that will trigger a lot of us who might be on a journey of perfectionism, or of dealing with that perfectionism, right? And so seeking confidence in your divinity, not in your perfection, that shift is giant for me and for all the many women that I've worked with in my classes and in my design, because bringing back to the topic of the book, I know my book is beautiful because it comes from the deep depths of my soul, from the deep grief of my soul, from the deep love of my soul. And so whether or not those words are perfectly spelled, I love my book, and to me it's perfect. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of feedback that might be related to that, right? To grammar and all those things. But the feedback I've gotten from those who've read it goes beyond that, goes deeper than that. And so if we think of perfection and this desire to achieve perfection in all areas of our life, we can see how noticeable it is that we are always looking for external sources to be our guides in telling us what is perfect, right? We see this in magazines, we see this in the way that society and media portray body image, right? You know, you're only perfect when you look this way, right? Or your home is only perfect when it looks this way. And that's so much of the work that I do, is seeing confidence, feeling confident in whatever state that your body, that your life, and that your home is in. That's not to say you're going to be mediocre about it. That's not to say you're not going to find room for change and for transformation. But it's to say that you are aware of where you are in that time and moment. And it is not perfect, but it is powerful in the strength that it's showing you where you need to go next. So every time that we have this inner conversation, in the shift, in the masterclass, I share about how as women we are our worst enemies, and we judge ourselves more than sometimes we would judge others, right? We are just so harsh on ourselves, and it brings us to the space of feeling less than, feeling so like we are not enough. Every time we lose our patience with our kids, we beat ourselves up. Every time our sink is full of dishes, we just beat ourselves up. Every time the laundry is piling up. All these day-to-day very mundane things. And then also really bigger things like our weight and the health issues, or our work. Whatever it is, most of us have a lot of that inner talk that is really sabotaging our capacity to fill ourselves with more nourishment, with more confidence, and fulfill more of our potential. So this shift of seeking confidence in your divinity is about accepting how perfect you already are, not by the standards of others, not by the standards of the world, not by the standards of Pinterest or all these magazines, which I'm not putting it down. There's so much inspiration in that, obviously. But we need to be realistic. We need to be authentic. So that confidence comes from you being so in tune with yourself that you are so willing to be accountable, to take radical accountability for the lack of perfection. In other words, if your house is a disaster and clutter has overpowered your life, bashing yourself, putting yourself down is not going to be beneficial. It's not going to really help you make the shift. What does help you make the shift is to be present with that, understand that there's a story of why that has happened in your life, why that clutter piled up. Maybe it's really because you're in a transitional space in your life. You're going through a divorce, you just got married, you just had a baby, you had another baby. Someone in your family died, or you moved, or you have a new job, you lost your job. Whatever it is, there's validation in whatever stage you are in. And that space, your home, which in this context of a sacred interiors should be sacred, so should be a space of nourishment and of revitalizing yourself, right? Your body, your mind, and your soul. If that space is not impeccable, and more than impeccable, is not up to your standards, right? There's something that is not making you feel like it's where you want it to go. Again, not looking for perfection. When we look for perfection, it's coming from a space of lacking. It's coming from a space of comparing ourselves to those magazines, to other people. It's coming from a space of not feeling good enough. But when it's still, you're aware that it's not coming from that space, but it's still not fulfilling, there's still more to it that you know could be done, then that's the space where we sit with, right? That's the space where we become clear on why is it how it is, and what practical changes can I make. And every single time that comes up for my clients, the change has to come from their mind. The clutter and the decluttering process has to come from their mind. So unless we're able to recognize how divine, how perfect we already are in all of our in all of our imperfection, not looking for anything that's flawless, but really accepting our own imperfect selves, our own imperfect lives, then that's the space where we get confidence. And from there, we're not afraid of moving forward with our dreams, moving forward with our visions. So if you have a book that you're publishing and it's not 100% perfect, but you know you're ready to share that message, then you go for it. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And of course, I'm saying that to myself. And it's the same thing with your home, and it's the same thing with your life, and it's the same thing with your relationships. So every time that you have set your mind to do something and it doesn't work, right? And we don't accomplish that goal that we have, then we have to backtrack and recognize, why was that intention and vision set in the first place? We have to go deeper. So if my goal in taking care of my home and taking care of my life and my body and my health, etc., is out of seeking, comfort in those external sources, if it comes from wanting that which is outside of me so much, it's not going to be sustainable, and it's going to ultimately fall apart because it's not genuine, because it's not authentic. So seeking confidence in your divinity and not in your perfection really comes from wanting to encourage all of us, all of you, to recognize how beautiful you are, how great you are, how divine you are, and how there are opportunities for you to really be extra committed and tools for you to really get yourself together in order to make those changes and those shifts that you want to make. I talk often about aha moments being awesome, but they aren't enough. What happens is we stay stuck in the aha moments, and then we don't move forward into implementing any changes that will take us to a transformation. And so, a very clear example is all the images we pin on Pinterest and all the collection of ideas and this sort of exciting feeling of, I'm gonna go shopping and I'm gonna get my bedroom organized, and we do all that. And then at the end of the day, we're not fulfilled. Why? Because we're looking for validation, we're looking for perfection, and we're looking for satisfaction coming from an outside source. And then 2 weeks later, you hate everything that you bought, and you hate what you did, and then you enter this self-bashing sort of pattern and circle of, not feeling good enough, not feeling creative enough, not feeling disciplined enough, etc., etc., etc. So again, if you haven't seen the class, I encourage you to watch it. There's really, really cool shifts in there that really round up to having a sacred home that comes from aligning yourself with who you really are, with the visions that you really have for you, for your family, for your children, and allowing those intentions to really travel into a more physical space and making them tangible, where you can see them, where you can feel them, where you can experience them. And a lot of the people that I've been talking to and working with lately with Sacred Interiors, the main things for all these women has been clutter, and then also is a lot of just feeling so frustrated because they've tried so many different things and nothing really works. And ultimately what happens is that they're robbing themselves of the opportunity of focusing on what really matters, which is their children, which is their romantic life, which is their marriages, which is their home life, which is themselves. And instead they're focusing all their energy on working nonstop and taking care of this home in very just impulsive ways, right? Not with reverence. They're spending more and more time doing all this work that never seems to end because it doesn't ever end. And if you have been a stay-at-home mom, or if you have a home, in general, period, you know, the homework does not end. And so we need to be able to be okay with that. I often talk about, is it clutter or is it a mess of a family that is living a normal life? It's very different. We can't expect our homes to look impeccable all of the time. It's not realistic. It's not liberating to do that. We become slaves of our own minds, which is telling us if we don't have our home this way, we're not worthy of, we're not good enough, we're not good enough moms, we're not good enough wives, we're not good enough women, we're not good enough at balancing all these hats that only we as women have, because let's face it, this is what we can do. We can multitask like no one else can. And of course I'm saying that about men. And in a yogic way, it's actually true. Biologically, we are meant to be multitasking. We are meant to be taking care of the home, the children. Of course, in today's world, we're taking care of our careers. We're taking care of our own self-development, of our health, of our food. Men are biologically designed to hunt and provide. This is what their brain was built for. And in today's world, we forget that, right? We forget that a lot. And so, again, I encourage you to just go through the class if you haven't already. And more importantly, to just go through your day-to-day and pay attention to those thoughts. Pay attention to those judgments that you're putting on yourself. All the times that you're putting yourself down. And then choose to acknowledge yourself as a perfect being, just as you are. And when you're ready to make a true commitment and really be disciplined and really be focused in making a change, then decide and commit that that day, at that moment, you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And not from a space of desperation and not from a space of fear or in lacking that if you don't do that, this and this is going to happen. That's old school. That's punitive, Piscean age stuff, and I'll get more into that another time. But today, we just need to be authentic, and we need to be radically responsible for our own lives and seeing things as they are with as much neutrality as we can, but also recognizing that we have our responsibility to fulfill our potential. And if this kind of stuff, the small stuff like your home, is keeping you stuck in doing that, then how can we treat the bigger things with reverence, right? We often get caught up in not being able to treat the little things with love, with gratitude, with reverence. Those little tasks of laundry, dishes, taking care of our children, they become a burden, they become dreadful. But yet we have these big dreams and big goals for our life. Well, it doesn't work that way. We have to be able to start small, and then the big doors open, and then the big stuff is accomplished. So that's my message for the day. I'm gonna now go get my kids from school. It's been awesome to have you all here, Tabitha and Ying and Jamie and Carly and all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my stuff. Check out the masterclass if you guys haven't. And if you want to buy my book, buy my book. And I'm open to feedback, but try to see beyond the imperfections and honor my divinity, because I am scared shitless about what you're gonna read. And send me your feedback, because I really appreciate it. Have an awesome day. Sat Nam.